Hello folks, my name is Mark. This is Why I Hate the World. How you guys doing? So, I make a lot of videos about right-wingers and such, and, you know, right-wing topics, and today we're gonna make a video about liberals, or rather a topic which is usually associated with liberals, that being fat shaming and fat acceptance. Okay, so a little bit about me. As you can see, I am pretty fat. Okay, although I have lost a little weight recently. Since last November, I've dropped about 19 pounds, 20 pounds. You know, I started dieting and hitting the gym. Me and my fiance were doing it together. She actually lost fucking like 50 pounds. It's fucking crazy. She looks incredible, right? So she lost a shitload of weight. I lost a little bit, but I still have about 20 to go. But this is actually the first time in my life that I've managed to lose weight and like keep it off. You know, pretty happy about that. But anyway, that's a whole different subject. We're talking about fat acceptance. So I think fat acceptance is a load of crap. Okay. Now I know you may be saying, well, gee, Mark, why do you think that? You know, you're a bit roly-poly yourself. Well, so I think the problem is people confuse fat acceptance with fat shaming. Okay, those are two different things. So fat shaming, you know, which I hate that fucking term shaming. I don't know why everybody's fucking saying that now. I hate that term. It's, you know, it's fat discrimination basically, but fat shaming is what everybody says. What that is basically is making fun of fat people, right? Being discrimination against fat people, basically, you know. And some things that people will list, you know, they'll say shit like, well, you know, I don't know, I can't make friends the same amount, you know, women don't like me, crap like that. Other guys will say things like, well, if I go on an airplane, I have to buy 2 seats, or, you know, I can't go on roller coasters, or, you know, that shit like that. They say this is fat shaming, and I think, you know, that's not fat shaming. That's bullshit, okay? Fat shaming is basically when you just, you know, when it's discrimination, okay? It's when you try to go get a job and you can't get a job because the guy doesn't like fat people, right? Or something like that, all right? And the problem is it's very hard to actually prove, okay? The same way that other types of, you know, discrimination is hard to prove. But in that respect, it's not very much different than other types of discrimination anyway. You know, things like racism or sexism, you know. But it has been known to happen, right? But fat acceptance is different. Fat acceptance is basically when you know, people who want to be accepted, right, regardless of body type, which is cool. You know, I think that's actually a good thing. I think you should teach children not to, you know, make fun of people because of their weight and stuff like that. I mean, I certainly suffered through a lot of fucking humiliation as a child, right? You know, I was a fat kid, and I got a lot of shit for it, right? But I don't think, you know, I don't think that the fat acceptance movement really has any water. You know, I don't think it has any legitimacy, because being fat is not, it's not akin to, you know, race or, you know, religion or whatever. It's basically a condition, right? It's not even a handicap most of the time, okay? There are people out there who are obese, you know, for medical reasons, right? And in their case, you know, they're getting the shitty end of the stick, right? And in their case, you know, things should be made to accommodate them. That does exist, all right? Now, I know a lot of people see that and they think that that's bullshit, and they think it's like, you know, medical conditions, and they think that's like an excuse. There are people out there who have thyroid conditions and other reasons why they gain weight, you know, when other people don't, and it's really no fault of their own, and I feel bad for them, right? But it's, you know, the thing is that when you ask somebody to accept something, right, that's different than, you know, what that means is that that person should have the same public and professional opportunities as everyone else. So that person should have the same opportunity to go to school, the same opportunities to get jobs, the same opportunities for whatever, any of this, you know, the same way that we encourage, we encourage like to stop sexism and racism. Institutional sexism and racism is the same thing, against people of different body types, right? In that regard, I think I support it. I think that's great. But where I have a problem is where you get into people's personal likes and dislikes. Okay, you'll hear people on the internet. They'll say some shit like, "Oh, you're fat shaming because you don't want to go out with me, because you're not attracted to people who are overweight." That's bullshit. Okay, I'm sorry. It's not discrimination if you're just not attracted to a certain body type, right? You'll hear people say this all the time. Like, would you say that someone is, somebody who is, say, not attracted to a certain race, would you call them a bigot if they have no other outward manifestation of racism? I don't think so. For example, let's say someone is Asian. There's a guy who's Asian and he only likes Asian women, and he's just not attracted to black women or white women or Latino women, right? Would you say he's racist? Not really. I mean, if he treats them in every other aspect of his life as, equals, then he's not discriminated. He doesn't discriminate against them in every other part of his life except that he's just not physically attracted to them for whatever reason. That's not discrimination, right? The same way that it's not fat shaming if you don't, like somebody. If you don't want to like go out with someone, if you're not attracted to somebody because they're overweight, that's not discrimination at all, right? Additionally, I don't think it's discrimination to make somebody who weighs 600 pounds buy 2 airplane tickets, right? I think it's bullshit, don't get me wrong. I think that's just an excuse for the plane to fucking make more money. But at the same time, that's not discrimination, all right? If that guy's butt really is 4 feet wide, right, and he needs 2 seats to sit in, he should fucking have to pay for both fucking seats, okay? Additionally, things like a guy not being able to get on a roller coaster because he weighs 700 pounds. Sorry, put down the fried bread for a little bit, lose some weight, and then you get to go on Colossus, right? It's the same way that, women, certain feminists complain about not being hired for physically extraneous, occupations. Like, oh, I got turned down to be a fireman, or firefighter, right? Because I couldn't pass the physical exam. Well, the same way, it's like, well, if I weigh 300 pounds and I can't run up 17 flights of stairs with a fucking hose and shit, then I don't get the job. And it doesn't matter if I'm what race I am or what gender I am. What matters is can I do the job? And if I'm out of shape and I can't do it, then guess what? You don't get it, right? I see no different. I see that's not discrimination. That's the same way like a blind person can't be a fighter pilot. Okay, it's not. It's not discrimination. It's that's the requirements of the job right there. All right. So people, I think they take it too far. You see people online and they say shit like, "Oh, this is discrimination. You're fat shaming because you fucking." Another good example is people who get mad when, like, say, there's a program or something where somebody talks about general health and wellness, and they say that being overweight is bad for you. Once in a while, you'll, like, if you go on fucking, what's that stupid ass website, Tumblr or whatever, where all the social justice warriors hang out, you'll see people say some shit like, oh, this guy's like, fat shaming because he's pointing out X, Y, Z, and that, I'm going to be predisposed to diabetes or a heart attack or something like that. And that's bullshit too, okay? That's like, if your doctor says that to you, are you going to say he's fat shaming? No, all right? It's not discrimination if it's the truth, all right? The truth is, if you're overweight, then you're putting pressure on your heart, right? Your blood sugar is probably fucked up, right? Your blood pressure is high. Fuck, I have fucking high blood pressure. I got to cut out the salt, That's part of the reason why I started losing weight, was because of my fucking blood pressure. That shit runs in my family. Diabetes runs in my family too, actually, on both sides. So there's plenty of good reasons, right? And it doesn't help to try to just pretend that everything's okay when everything is not okay. Okay, it's people are not you know, when somebody states facts like that, you know, that you can die if you know, don't lose weight or whatever, or you're going to have health problems in the future if you don't lose weight, and it's not okay to weigh 300 pounds or 400 pounds or whatever. That's not shaming. That's basically fucking, you know, and you shouldn't take it like that. You should say, well, that's the truth. You know, it's the same way if somebody says, like, smoking is bad for you. Well, smoking is bad for you. Shit, I used to smoke too. You know, are you going to say that, oh, you're fucking smoke shaming now? I mean, why is it like, you know, shit that you do that's part of your personal preference, right? You can't discriminate against somebody for actions that they take, you know, and your action is that you fucking eat too much, right? And, you know, this is coming from somebody who's been fat his entire life, so if you're gonna say that I'm fat shaming, get the fuck out of my face, all right? I've been, you know, look at this, I got flub hanging out here, I got plenty, I'm not gonna take my shirt off and, you know, show you my rolls or whatever. So, anyway, I think the whole fat acceptance thing is BS, you know. I think people should not be coddled, right? I think it's a good thing to teach children to not discriminate against other children, you know, because they're fat, and to not make fun of them. And I think the best thing that you can do to somebody who is overweight is encourage them, you know, give them encouragement, you know, help them to realize that anybody can do it, right? And you just have to, like, have the desire. You have to have the desire, and you got to have positive reinforcement, and you can lose weight too, right? But going around and pretending that you don't have a problem, that's not the way to go. So, adios.